Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we have the Cobra Ferret Scout and Cobra Ferret ATV, as well as the Cobra Valkryes. I thought it's really fitting to have both of them together because this is all a female force. So we will dig in, I think, first with the Valkryes and then with the ATV, with the Ferret. So looking at the box art that we have here, we do notice a lot of different weapons and everything else. So the way this kind of works out that I'm noticing is we have one that has all black weapons, and then the other one is more of a desert camo version of the same weapons. Looking at the back here, and that really kind of insinuates all of that. And if you wanted to, I mean, because we have one with a chocolate skin color, one with a more vanilla skin cover, my goodness. And then we also have one that actually has more of the mask covering it, covering the eyes up, and more of a respirator there. So if you were to get a second group, which I was not able to find, I was lucky just to find this. And I remember looking for quite a while, and it just never happened. So I was very happy to be able to get this, as well as, you know, I think I hit the jackpot because I was able to get a ferret. So this is just extremely cool for me. Hopefully you find it to be cool to be able to see all of this here together. And I do wish everyone luck for trying to find these that aren't a huge cost. Because the ferret, which should have been, I think they were saying like $58 or whatever, cost me a little bit more than that. And, you know, I kind of suckered out, and I did spend the money, and I got one. So, you know, it's very nice to be able to get them. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people that what they've been doing is they've been buying them and reselling them for a lot higher cost, and it's just kind of hard to do for a lot of us to be able to pick them up because it starts outpricing it for most collectors. Especially when you're on a budget and that, which I know it seems like I've got a lot of stuff here, but I try to get it as cheap as I can, and I think a lot of people do as well. But yeah, it's just not the easiest. So for all those that want to get this, and then you know, it's just kind of hard to do at times. And I admit when I luck out here, because I mean that's what this was. This was just complete luck out. I don't know if I don't think I could get the same luck again that I did getting these when I did. I just kind of really, like I said, lucked out on the cost. It was a little bit more than what I was hoping for, but you know, here I am being able to say, hey, I got them. So, all right. So with our 2-packs being in a box here, it's some nice box art, I will say that, but having a pocket knife of some sort to try and get them out of here really does help. Trying to get this out so you can see the box art a little bit better. Okay, so we do have some nice box art here. I'll set that there for the moment. Okay, so let's look at our figures here. And I have those bases that I had picked up. Now, last time we had some Star Wars figures on these bases. Today we have some G.I. Joe figures on these same bases. I don't know. Nope, that's the way it's supposed to go, I guess. All right. So it is holding these figures up pretty well. All right. So we'll take this one here. All right. And, oops, our holster's kind of coming down here a little bit. Okay. So, looking at our ankles being the same as what we typically have, she does have a double knee joint, so we can have her stretch her knee out or her calf out and all that. Thigh, calf muscles, get all that set to go. We do have a double elbow as well, so she can go all the way up here to grab something. I think we have a pocket knife, or a pocket knife, a combat knife up there. And of course, now they don't have their helmets on yet, so we'll have to find the helmets out of their equipment. Twists, they do twist pretty good. It is a little bit more of under the bust here. Nope, it does twist down here at the waist as well. So this is a separate floating joint in here that takes up there in the abdomen. So that works out pretty nice. Has a nice look to the figure. They are a little bit smaller. Actually, I should see. I don't have any. I put my other figures in a box for now. Just was kind of wondering exactly how they stand in comparison to their male counterparts. Quite often what I've noticed with the female figures is they are just a little bit shorter than a lot of the male figures. So when we get to our vehicles and that, typically I have a lot more luck trying to get the female figures into the vehicles than I do some of the males, especially once we get the really brawny guys. And I kind of pick on Bazooka there because he's one of those really kind of brawny guys. Alright, so first bag. Now looking at the backpack, we do have 2 gun holders. So, ooh, she has what looks to be a Cobra version of an M16 with an M203 grenade launcher underneath. And this is more of a box style barrel guard, as well as the air, or the sugars. Trying to remember exactly how that, or how that's called. Essentially, in order to trap the gas to make this work, as the round goes out, you have the gases that go up. It goes up in through here, which is normally your front sight, and it comes back, and there's a rod inside there that goes back, pushes everything back to cycle in another round. And that's how that kind of works. So this is definitely an A2 style, or A1 or later, because we have the plunger on the side, so you can plunge that bolt forward if you ever have to. A little extra information than you probably expected to hear on a silly G.I. Joe video here. So we will put that one here. So she's got a nice longer range hole puncher. And then this, being more of a submachine gun, looks more like a grease gun. Now I don't know much about the grease gun itself because it's not something I typically had. And of course they have a scope on there. This would probably be a shorter range weapon though. Kind of like a medium range in all reality. Let's see here. So this should have that type magazine, more of a 9mm of such, where our M16 being our 5.56 or 223. Okay, and then that can sit up in here, so we have the backpack all set up. Now we should be able to put that onto her back, and then she has the gas mask variant, so that's a whole different head that we would have to pop off and put that on. And we would just set our helmet on top, or we have her lovely eyes staring out at us and saying Cobra is the true rulers of the world and we are the ones that need to bring that all in. Give us that stern look of a good Cobra trooper. And if I can get her knife in here, that would be wonderful, but I'm just having problems. That's because I'm trying to go from the top and it goes in from the bottom. Alright, that might make some sense if I only understood exactly what I'm supposed to be doing here. Alright, so the pistols being a more compact, I'm going to guess a 9mm. Sits in there very well. And then another 9mm. Sits right there. And if I can keep that to want to just stay up there, that would be wonderful. Alright, now looking around, we do have some pouches. So these might be ammo pouches or magazine pouches. I don't know. Maybe they're pouches for some other gear. We definitely have a couple magazine pouches. These are definitely going to be magazine pouches for our sidearms here. The other ones might just have some other gear or something in there for whatever else we need. And the backpack is our standard backpack. Goes onto the harness in between there. There it is. And everything sits really nice. This is a big enough backpack that the magazines don't interfere with the arms really. And now that she's got the backpack on, I will say I just did notice they have the double shoulder. So that way that gives them a little bit extra range there in movement, which is really kind of nice. So, okay, so then the weapons will be the same, just a different color scheme. And then we have different fire effects. Okay. Here, get that out of the way. So we have the same backpack. Like I said, the same M16. Whoops. And I'm throwing the magazines around. Alright. So we will set that one up there. We will take the submachine gun here, and we will put the magazine in there. Okay. So if you remember the Valkryes, they were more of the Baroness's personal troops. She had more of the Valkryes under her command. But they worked side by side along their male brethren. Get the pistols in there. And they were just as competent as anyone else. All right. So with this one, we do have two different helmets here. We have one with a chevron denoting an officer and one without the chevron. So however you wanted to do that. For now, I'm going to put the chevron on top of the one with the mask. And then these two are going to be just regular grunts. Like so. And I will get that on there. Okay. Now we do have a bunch of different pieces here. Let me see. Just out of pure curiosity, because I'm going to guess that we should be able to do it with, yes we can, with our pistol. Because they've been trying to do this so you could put it on any one of them. So, let's see if you want that smoking. I think we've seen this out of the Marvel with Black Widow. We had where it kind of smoked. Now I never picked that figure up, but I do remember seeing it on some of the other listings because I go on Amazon quite a bit looking around. So, and then we have some longer ones. I'm going to guess more of if your pistol's got that much out of there, that's quite a bit. You know, if you wanted some of this, look. It's like we have a bunch of different rounds going off. Actually, I suppose that would be better off this way. And then you would actually have it up, each one of these being a different round or so. But, alright. And then, of course, then we have a really wide one. Maybe some special ammo coming out of here, which I'm guessing all these would be. And then, yeah. There we go. Very cool, very interesting. I don't typically use those, but there again, I don't really have the room for the dioramas and all that a lot of people do. at least not yet. So when I get there, there's a good possibility I might. And I've gotten some of these from Transformers as well, so to be able to see that some of these are coming from Transformers and all that, and I think they're all pretty well interchangeable. So, you can kind of go back and forth between them. All right, so let's get to our ferret. And one more piece of tape there, and then we're all good. So let's see what we all have here. Okay, so we do have accessories, we do have our figure, and of course, then there is the ferret itself. Alright, so as we look inside here, we can see that we have the ferret, we do have the wheels, and we will get those on here shortly, as well as all the other parts to put on there, and then our figure. So let's, okay, I guess I'm going to snip them from this side. One and two. There's the ferret body, just out of view from you guys. Not trying to, but just trying to figure out how I'm doing this. And now I don't want to cut into these, so I'm going to have to try and figure out how I'm doing this on the back side without tearing everything up. Or, now this would be funny, getting my own finger. Alright. There's one. And like I said, I don't want to try not to, one, get my finger, two, I don't want to cut into the plastic there for the tires. I don't have a problem if it rolls a little bit on its own. Get this all in screen for you. Of course, the worst part is I'm behind the, I don't have a computer right in front of me. It's well behind me. So it's not like I get to see everything I'm doing. Okay. 2 tires, 3 tires, 2, 3. And then last but not least, we have tire number 4 here. This is not a good time to have fat fingers. There we go. All right. Okay, so looking at what we have here, trying to keep everything in proper perspective. So we do have a nice Cobra on here, the XP1000. So this is a 1000 series, having a little bit, so what we're seeing is you have different ratings for different, or for the vehicles. So, okay. All right. So what that's saying is it's a different size engine. So 1000 is the biggest that I've really seen offhand. Now I could be very wrong with some of that stuff, but with a 1000 series, and I'll say for like a UTV or whatever, that would mean that you're able to go roughly about like about 60 miles an hour maybe. Some of the smaller engines, they're a little lighter duty, maybe not quite as much speed there. So, seeing the XP1000, it means that this is the bigger engine series, which would make a lot of sense for a military vehicle. and especially for the fact that they're going to want to be able to get in, get their job done, and get out in a hurry. Having the ability to get someone else to sit on the back here and just get things going makes a lot of sense. That way we can retrieve somebody. Maybe our driver here is trying to pick up these two. Maybe they can sit on the side or something like that, and then just get out of Dodge after attacking G.I. Joe, and then being able to quick run for it. So looking at this, looking at how the tires are on the package, these tires are going to fit on this side, so I'm just going to pop them in. I'm kind of nervous because... Alright, well maybe I'm not going to pop them in yet. Seems like there's a little more of an issue here. Alright, let's open this up here. I know how this goes together. We have this to put on, that to put on, and our missiles and our extenders. I've seen some other videos because I did not think I would be able to get any of these. I'm just being honest. I mean, for the cost that I've seen these going for, they are a huge amount of cost, and that's why I say I'm very blessed to be able to have picked one of them up. I mean, I have to be honest with everybody, you know, to be able to look at this and say, hey, I feel like I'm one of the lucky few that won a lottery to be able to pick these up because of the cost that these things are going for. It is just a wonderful thing to be able to say, hey, I was able to sneak one into my own collection here. All right, so this does have, it looks like a hexagonal setup. But that is not hexagonal, but it fits in there very snug, which is good. And then this is going to sit on here. The only thing I don't know is, does it fit on the one in front or the very back? I'm going to guess it's going to be the very back. Now this is supposed to be a 20mm recoilless rifle, which they did use these on, not on four-wheelers, but on motorcycles in World War II. So this is a very plausible thought to sit here and say that, yes, we had seen some setups like this in World War II with 20mm recoilless rifles. And sometimes it was on a sidecar or whatever, kind of like what G.I. Joe has done with the Ram cycle. My mind is blanking at the moment again. Like I said, I do these videos, and then quite often they will kind of blank out at times. Like, okay, now which one was it? I think it's the Ram cycle with the sidecar and the Gatling gun. Now these tires they're rubber, and as you can see, I can push in on them. It's a hard enough rubber. I don't think it's going to get any soft spots on there. This is not all that hard to put together. Obviously, you're watching silly old me put this together, so it can't be that difficult. Has a nice big wide footprint here. And that's something I guess I would say, if this is a 1000 series, I think really does make a lot of sense. It would probably have a wide footprint. Let's see exactly how does this sit in there. No, that's the missiles. That is a connector there. Now, I don't know if I'd really want to have missiles sitting that low. And of course, this is essentially a nicely beefed up version of what the old 3 3/4 inch scale was. So the missiles don't really look like they have a front or back. They're both fronts, no actual back. Now, I'm going to throw this out here and take this for what it is. Let's just pretend this is a real vehicle, which, you know, we physically have one here, so I'm not going to say it couldn't be. But if we're talking about something that's going to be running around, why wouldn't we put a little cover on the back to make sure that nothing gets in the way of our exhaust here for our rocket, our missile rocket, whatever, to be able to go out. So in that vein of thought, would it or would it not make a little bit of sense to possibly cover that up to make sure that we don't get mud and everything else and clog up that piece? So in that regard, I guess it would make some sense to have a similar style cover cap or whatever that sits on the back. Once it launches, it just shoots that out, so that way there's no mud there, and it'll launch out forward. So I'm just throwing it out in that regard. Now, whether I'm right or wrong, please feel free. I mean, maybe this is something nobody else has thought of. Maybe it's something everyone else has thought of, and I'm just a goofball here, which I think I'm a goofball anyways. But it is wonderful to be able to see this. It is a big vehicle. Honestly, for the size of this, we could almost get 2 people in here. I think they could use this as the basis for, making a little UTV for us or something. It is wide enough. It definitely is wide enough. Okay, so let's get our Crunchity Crunches driver out of here. Okay, so she has a combat knife that comes flying out at me. A couple pistols. Alright, all the Crunchity's done. Okay, and I don't think one of the rabbits like that. So, looking at her, she's got the same ankles that we're so used to and we go through all the time. We have the double knee joint here, which is going to be great trying to get her on there. It's almost the same as the Valkryes, except she's got the chest piece. This might even, underneath here, might be the same as what they have. So it might be almost the same mold. And in some regards, it almost looks like it's the same mold. So that's not a bad thing. I'm not gonna complain about it. Very nicely done. Looks wonderful. We have a double elbow, so we can go all the way up. So I think that this is almost the same mold as what we had before. It looks almost the same. So I'm gonna just call it out and say it's probably the same, which is not a problem. I don't have any issues here. It looks like the same pistols that we have on the Valkryes. Alright, and instead of the combat knife being up here, it's down here on the leg. And then we have the helmet. And the helmet being a little on the rubbery side, a little challenging to get on initially, but once we get it on there, and it has a nice fang design here, that's really kind of cool. And it's just a little offset. Not by much, but just a little. It'll work nicely. So let's try and get her on there, see how well she does. So let's see. I have to widen the legs out a little bit. Get the arms out here. I don't know how well I'm going to do this. Alright, so this is kind of similar to the issues I was having with the other ones. Now, for the other UTVs that I've collected that were not obviously G.I. Joe, or ATVs I should say, we could easily say that they were not a 1000 series or something, so they're definitely a smaller unit. Okay. Now, how do I get her to look like she's actually sitting? There, that looks pretty close. And with this, I'm going to say we definitely have room for 1, if not 2 more figures to be able to sit up there. So if for our Valkyrie force, I think that she would definitely be able to get everyone on there and get everyone out of there on and out of there without too much of a problem. I'm going to slide this over a little bit. Try and get this back on. There we go. There. All right. So that's it. Wonderful additions. Not the easiest to come by, so if you happen to come by them, you know, I think we're very lucky when we do, because I don't think a lot of people are going to spend the money that a lot of resellers are really asking. It's just one of those things. I really wish people weren't trying to get all the extra money, but you know, our economy's not doing the greatest either in some regards. So I guess I understand. Doesn't make it easy for us collectors to try and do this, but it is fun when we are able to actually get it, and I think we do fully appreciate what we do get. So with that, thank you so very much for stopping by. It's always wonderful having you here with me. Hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you in the next video.